Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. This video is going to be all about printer purge files. Now, several years ago I did a full video on unclogging an Epson EcoTank printer, and in that I talked quite a bit about printer purge files. And I often mention them when people ask questions about different issues with printing. However, I've never made a video specifically about what a printer purge file is and why you would use it, so I thought I would make that today because I do get a ton of questions. Now, when I am talking about printer purge files during this video, I'm going to be specifically talking about printing for sublimation, so with a sublimation printer. However, this is really applicable to every type of printing process, so you can continue to watch even if you have a different type of printer. So, first of all, what is a printer purge file? So a printer purge file is something that will sort of push ink through your printer. Now, I have a set of 5 available in the description below this video for free. You can download those. You can probably find other ones on the internet. My set of 5 includes one that has 4 colors. So it has CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And then there is a file for each of those individually. So there is a file that is just black, just cyan, just yellow, just magenta. So you would get all of those with that bundle, and you could print the ones that you needed to. So why would you need a printer purge file? You would need it if you are having issues with your printer, if you think you might have a clog, you print a nozzle check page off of your printer and some of the lines are missing. A lot of times just pushing ink through the printer, a lot of ink, right? Because this sheet is filled up with this color. You push a lot of ink through that color and it might start printing on its own. So it's sort of a way to avoid doing a print head cleaning. So I find these files extremely useful and something that I use a ton if I want to push ink through my printer for any reason at all. It may be a clog, it may be like I changed cartridges and I want that new ink flowing through. Whatever the situation is, if you want to push ink through your printer, a printer purge file can be a way to do that. And then the 4-color one I use most often, but however, if I'm struggling, I'm only having issues with one color, then I'll pick the specific color I'm having issues with and I will just print it several times to see if it will work and help fix my issue. So like I said, I do have a set below for free and you can download those or you can probably find them on the internet. How do you print a printer purge file? You literally just print it like you would print any other document. My specific set comes with a PDF. You can open the PDF and just hit print right in your Adobe Acrobat Reader, and you can just print the file to whatever printer you're having issues with. You can literally print these at any time. You can print them just to check things. Do I have lines in my print? Let me check all of my colors and see if there are lines in any of them. You can print these at any point in time if you think you need to. And like these are printed for sublimation. I don't have to mirror them. I'm probably not going to sublimate this file. If I wanted to sublimate this file, I could. It is sublimation ink printed on a sublimation printer with sublimation paper. I could definitely do that, but I don't have to. So I don't have to really mirror it. I don't have to do all my color settings or anything like that. I'm just trying to really push the ink through that printer. Now, could you sublimate this to check your colors? Absolutely, you could. However, I would probably recommend a file with more colors than this, sort of a rainbow of colors, to really check your colors. This is more to get your printer operating. So yes, you can print this on plain paper. You don't have to even use sublimation paper if you're using a sublimation printer. You are just trying to push the ink through those nozzles. And once you print this, you can then check, are all the boxes solid? Have you fixed your issue? And then try to print the actual print that you're printing. So this is something that is great to print regularly as well if you are trying to keep that ink flowing through your printer and you don't use your printer that often. I actually have a video on how to schedule prints to an Epson EcoTank printer, and this would be a print that you could schedule to it. You could also schedule other prints that you might want to sublimate later, but if you don't have that option or want to push a lot of ink through there at once, this printer purge file would be a great idea. The one with 4 colors is what I would recommend if you're doing like a regular maintenance print to get those colors flowing. And then the other 4 I would only recommend if you're having trouble with a specific color. So if I'm having trouble with black, I would print the black page. Then what do you do if these don't work? So if you're printing printer purge files and you're still getting lines, you're still having issues, maybe one of the colors is completely missing, two of the colors are completely missing, you probably have a more extensive clog that will require you to go a few steps further. And I do have another video on that, and I will link to that video in the description below this one. You can head there if you have an Epson EcoTank printer and learn how to clear those clogs. Other types of printers, I don't personally have a video on those, but you can probably find one out there on YouTube. So go to more extensive clog clearing videos if your printer purge file just doesn't work. Now I do want to encourage you not to just print one of these if you're dealing with a clog. So if you have missing lines, missing colors especially, you would print like probably 20 of these. So if I printed this out and say the magenta was missing, there just was no magenta, I would then head to the magenta file and I would probably print 10 of these or so and see if I could really push that magenta through there. Now, if the magenta is completely clogged, nothing may print on that page. You could just keep running the same page through there again and again so you won't waste paper. However, your goal is to really push that magenta ink through the clog and hopefully clear the clog on its own. Again, if that doesn't work, you'll need to go to more aggressive methods of printer cleaning. If you have an Epson EcoTank, I have a video for you. Otherwise, head to the YouTube search box and search for a video on your particular printer type. So now all that's left for you to do is to download those free printer purge files and give them a try for yourself. If you're having issues with your printer, these files are great. If you just want to push that ink through because you haven't used your printer a long time, these files are also great for that. So keep these files on hand at all times and just print them like you would any other page. There's no special settings that you need for these. Just literally pull them up as a PDF and hit print, and print as many of these as you would like to try to clear that clog or fix any issues with your printer. So hopefully these files help you, and now you understand a little bit more about what a printer purge file is. Now, is it always called a printer purge file? No, it is not. It might be termed other things within your printer software. So for instance, Sawgrass has something built in that is similar to a printer purge file, but they call it something else. And that is okay. It doesn't have to be called printer purge file. It doesn't even have to look like this with long strips of colors. It could be 4 blocks of colors, as in the case of the Sawgrass printer. So it definitely doesn't have to be called this at all. It is just something to push that ink through your printer. Now, could you make your own? Yes, probably, but you can also download them for free from several places. So hopefully this helps you. If you have any questions about printer purge files, drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you like this video and it helped you, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.